So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below, so check those out for massive discounts on all your Hidden Summoner needs as well as all your other Yu-Gi-Oh needs. But let's get on with the profile. What's up YouTube, Dad here from wargames, bringing you a test stand video for the 60 card Zombiesworn deck profile that I'll be doing for you guys tomorrow. This is to show you how the deck operates and how the combos work. It can play through a number of negates, which is very powerful and a necessity of modern day Yu-Gi-Oh decks. So without further ado, after a decent shuffle, we're going to do our standard test stands of 2 going first and 2 going second. So we're going to cut it up as best we possibly can and shuffle it up because it is a 60 card monstrosity. So after a good old cut, our starting hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, really good. So we're going to activate our zombie world straight away. That puts us in exactly what we want this deck to be, a zombie orientated deck. Now, we're going to normal summon our Goblinberg. We're going to use Goblinberg's effect to summon out the Raiden. Now Raiden's effect is going to mill us our top 2. Terraforming, which is no longer needed, and a zombie world, which again is no longer needed, but it's not what we wanted. If you want to protect yourself from hand traps, you overlay into Azathoth or Nyala to Azathoth. Because they are now both zombies, what you can do is you can link these guys together and go into your Vampire Sucker. Now you can activate your Foolish Burial. Your Foolish Burial, of course, would then give you your, you could put anything in there. Ideally you want to put your Border Roach. That means your Border Roach is coming back during the standby phase. Or of course you go Mizuki. Mizuki can bring one of these guys back. It really depends on what you want from your deck. Alternatively, you can put like Snow in there. You don't really need to put Banshee right now. You can put Glark Bloom to deck Fin a little bit more. Because then of course Glark Bloom will then give you your Border Roach. So, where are we? So we're going to get our Border Roach because I think that's the best way we can do it. But this one gives us an additional draw if we go with Bloom and get it out now. And then what you can do is you can go Border Roach, summon Border Roach off of Bloom, of course, because you've got Zombie World in play. Vampire Sucker's effect then triggers to draw you a card. Now, obviously, if you draw something that can extend your board, happy days, because then you can go into a Summon Sork without giving your opponent, of course, your Uni-Zombie. So now I'll draw off the Summon Sork. Like the best card you could possibly top deck. That's insane. Like, this is what I'm telling you. The 60 card deck is an absolute monstrosity. It'll either go really well or really bad. So we're going to top deck that bastard. We're going to go into Summon Sork because they're both zombies. You're then going to activate Brilliant Fusion, and you're going to send to your graveyard the 1 Garnet. I'm trying to get all the pieces as we go because it is quite taxing. There's the Garnet. And then you'll also send, well, you'll search Hat Trick right in a minute. So you'll send your Damage Juggler. Let's put that to one side. And we've got Uni-Zombie as well. So the additional normal is going to be busted. Seraphonite. You're then going to banish your Damage Juggler, search you out your Hat Trigger. Before we use the additional normal, use the effect of Summon Sork to target this and summon out a zombie from your deck because it is a zombie under Zombie World. I would go for Mizuki personally, even though its effect's negated when it's in the graveyard. Anything's up. You can then special summon your Hat Tricker, overlay your Hat Tricker. We're going to go for Mills. We want to get Snow to grave, basically, would be the ideal kind of scenario. Shuffle that up, cut that up, there we go. Detach the Mizuki, make sure you detach the Mizuki, that's what you want. Mill 3, 1, 2, 3. Draw 1 because you hit Illumina. Draw into Illumina. We've got the Raiden in grave, so if we wanted to, we could put the Uni-Zombie into the graveyard. But I think we're safer using our additional normal summon to go into the Uni-Zombie. Of course, we could Uni-Zombie, go into Mizuki, bring it back, but not really worth that right now. Additional summon of the Unizombie. Use Unizombie's effect to send another Mizuki from your deck to the graveyard. There we go. Making itself a level 4. And then you can link the Minerva and the Seraphonite into your Vampire Sucker. And then we're going to banish Mizuki, and we're going to bring back anything you want really. This is all level 4 zombies. What you want is just a level 4 that you can sync up, oh hello, dropping Borreload, into an Omega. Now imagine when Omega was at 3, like you literally just rip. Let's bring the map down a little bit. You can send your plays even more if you want to. You can banish Mizuki, bring back Seraphonite, which would give you an additional normal summon of your next turn. Not right now, of course, and it just means it's a 23 beta. Or you hold on to your Mizuki and keep it safe, but then obviously what you're risking is if your opponent called by the Grave, it's entirely up to you. You'd pass your turn during the standby phase. Border Roach comes back off his own effect, and then you'd get a draw off of your Vampire Sucker. Monster Reborn, so you've got a very stupid bird. You would then use the Omega to put one of the Mizukis back in to your graveyard, and then you kind of let your opponent play from there. Mizuki can interrupt by banishing, and that will then trigger the Border Roach banish effect as well. It's also got a negate effect on board as well. And then you kind of push your plays further forward that way. If you get rid of this at some point and bring it back during your standby phase, or if they get rid of it and it comes back during your standby phase, you get another draw off the Sucker. And then of course you've got your Monster Reborn, you've got your Lumina, and you've got plays that can extend even further from here. Especially when you've got 2 Mizukis in the graveyard as well. It's very, very hard for your opponent to kind of combat that. Even if they find a way of clearing your board without using a monster effect, you're going to use Omega. And of course Omega is going to rip one from your opponent's hand, can be as important or as irrelevant as possible. And then you're going to have more extensions in your graveyard, like I said. If they were to call by the grave, playing out 6 cards, they call by the grave you for 1. Let's say they call by the grave your Border Roach. You've still got 2 Mizuki to play. If they call by the grave 1 Mizuki, you've got your Border Roach coming back. And you kind of push your plays forward that way. The only thing that really, really stumps you is if they were to activate like an MST or a Twin Twister and get rid of your field spell, that then makes Border Roach null and void for the turn, because you would then use Omega to rip one from their hand, which would leave them on 3 cards to play with. So 3 cards for them to deal with: a Vampire Sucker, a Border Roach, and a Summon Sorceress. Is still quite difficult to ask, but you know, decks these days, 1 card is all it takes. Anyway, so that was our first turn hand. Now we're going to go for our second turn hand. Oh, well, no, our second first turn hand. So shuffle that up, and then draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, not the best, but not the worst, because we did get that Brilliant Fusion. You can gamble the Brilliant Fusion and activate your charge. Now, by activating your charge, if you mill your Garnet, that is it. If you play your Brilliant Fusion now, you could get it ashed. So it's very, very careful. This one, the best thing about this is it's a cost. So you activate this, mill free. No Garnet. No Garnet. No Garnet. Wow, cool. And we've got Banshee as well, which is brilliant. That will then search you out your Raiden for your additional normal summon. Where are you, Raiden? A lot of searching. I've probably gone past it like 6 times. There we go. Raiden. Use Banshee's effect. We want to try and drag out our opponent's ashes as much as we possibly can. Now, if this is game 2, they know how powerful Zombie World is in your deck, and if they haven't got like an MST or Twin Twister, they'll probably try and ash the Banshee. Can they ash it? I think it just sets, doesn't it? They can't ash the Banshee. Ignore that. They'll probably try and bell the Banshee, regardless. So you've got your Zombie World on board, which is ideally what you want. You can normal summon your Raiden and get the mills off your Raiden first, and then activate the Brilliant Fusion. So again, you're trying to drag out any hand traps that could really, really stump you. And then of course you've got an additional normal summon which you'll use ideally on Snow, because that way the Snow is then engraved. So we've done the cut. We'll normal summon the Raiden because we want to try and bait out as much as you can. Ride and mill too. As long as you don't mill your garnet, you're happy days. And then of course we're going to go for the Brilliant Fusion. It's all zombies now, so you know you're in dreamland. There goes Seraphinite. If they ash it, then you know that's just bad luck. You've played for a lot and they've smartly held onto their ash. Send the garnet. Send, it's the exact same combo, damage, banish damage in a minute, and we're going to search that out. There we go. We've got a fairly decent amount of targets that we don't really mind banishing off of snow, so that's entirely up to you on how you want to play that. Special summon the Hat Tricker. Get your additional normal summon out of the way now because we are going to need to use the Seraphinite. So if we link up the... Let's keep that because that's a tuner. Let's link up the Seraphinite and the Hat Tricker. And go into your Vampire Sucker. Let's put it over here because then it's got clear zones. You could of course overlay these guys here and go into... Minerva, mill the Minerva, that's probably safer because the only thing you got is an Omega bringing back a Banshee and whatnot. So let's overlay these two because we're still missing our mill. Like what we do need a mill engraved. We need something engraved that's going to help us. So we'll go with Snow and we'll go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Mizuki will do. And just Trick Crown Trigger. Yep. So Trick Crown Triggers, gain a K, bring that back. We still need to get the Border Roach to grade. That is what we're aiming for. So what you can then do is you could use your Trick Clown and your Vampire Sucker. Oh, we get the draw for the Vampire Sucker as well because it comes back from grave. Border Roach, don't want you in hand. Go into Summon Sork. Summon Sork's effect, target the Minerva and summon a zombie from deck. So summon out your Glart Bloom because that's what you want. You want the Border Roach out of your way. Then link these guys together for your second Vampire Sucker. There we go. That will then trigger Bloom, so you banish Bloom, summon the Border Roach from your deck. This is where Gumbler comes in handy because you want all of this in the grave. So where's the second Border Roach? There we go. Then what you could do is you could link these together. Don't even need to link that. You could. Oh no, you wouldn't need 4. Sorry. Go into your Gumbler, and then what you can do is you've got Snow's effect in graveyard. So you'd banish, or the 7, or of course you've got the Mizuki. So you'd banish Mizuki, bring back. Doesn't really matter what you bring back unless you want to use and abuse an effect off of it. So, and there's not really anything in there that's effect worthy right now. So bring back Summon Sork. That will then trigger Gumbler. So you discard your Border Roach and your Beast. Wolf, I believe it's random for us. Is it chosen for us? No, discard 1 or 2 random cards and your opponent discards the same amount of numbers. So we choose random. If you lose a foiling, nah, sad days. If you don't, doesn't really matter. Let's go with the 2 end ones. Border Roach and Wolf. That of course then triggers Gumbler's effect. Your opponent's now lost 2 cards. If you want to, you can link these guys together even more. Ideally you want a zone here so that when you bring back Snow during your opponent's turn you could lose your Froylan and now lose another one, so they then go down to playing 3 cards and they've got to play through a Border Roach with 3 cards. So it's up to you on how consistent you want this to be. You won't get the draw. If you want the draw for Vampire Sucker, of course you could do that and then try and trigger Gumbler, but it does mean that you need a zone. If you haven't got a zone, and the only way you get in a zone is if you go... this is stupid extension. I wouldn't say you have to do this. It's just an extension. If you wanted to, you would have to go Snow, wherever she is. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just do 7 that way. That doesn't trigger anything, by the way. You just link these guys together, go into your Phoenix. That would trigger Gumbler again. You discard your last card in hand. They discard 1 as well. So they're now down to 3 cards in hand. You pass your turn. During your standby phase, you'd get the draw for sucker, doesn't matter what it is. You would then trigger snow. Well, you get your border roach, you don't even need to trigger snow. Border roach will go off. Sorry, border roach will go off. Trigger Gumbler, I believe. And then sucker. So chain link 1, 2. 2 draw. And then Gumbler ditch. Your opponent ditches. So you now go down to 2 cards, I think, we believe. Yeah, we've ripped 4 cards from our opponent's hand. So now they've got 2 cards to play through this. And then, you know, they can't do that. That's like near. I'll be amazed if they can, with 2 cards, they can play through a negate and a banish of a monster whenever a zombie card effect activates. And if we wanted to, we could activate that anytime we want because we activate snow in the graveyard. And they've got to kind of get past snow as well. So snow's going to book a moon them no matter what they do. So yeah, it causes a lot of problems, Gumbler. You've just got to be very, very careful that what you've got in your hand. Which, the good thing about this deck is there are sometimes when you do have like the wolves and you do have the border roaches and you want stuff that you don't want in hand. Like a giant Rex, stuff like that. That Gumbler is probably one of the better options because you don't mind losing what you've got. But you just got to be very careful because it is a mandatory trigger. So it's not a full hand loop, but it can cause huge amounts of issues for your opponent to try and play through. Anyway, now let's start going second. Let's show how aggressive this deck can be. So we want to be bringing everything out into attack mode. And ideally you want to try an OTK, which this deck can do if it opens up well enough. And depending on what your opponent's opened up with as well. So after a good old shuffle and a very decent cut, our first hand of 6 going second is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we've got the Lone Fire. Straight away, that is a great play. Now, you can try and bait it out with the charge of the Light Brigade. That is an option for you. So, entirely up to you on how you want to play it. Of course, you are going to be gambling. If you've got set cards, I'm pretty sure if you go Lone Fire Blossom, tribute off, because it's go to a second one, your opponent could go activate effect, call by the grave, and you just go, ah, crap, I'm stuck on my Lone Fire now. That is an option. Charge can be activated. You gamble your mills of it being a garnet, but it could also possibly drag out your opponent's ash. So it's up to you. We're going to go as if they haven't got anything. If they did, then sucky days. If you were to go for the charge, that's the 3 would be milling. Anyway, okay, so we're going to go through the whole entire thing. So we're going to end up with a Brilliant Fusion. We're going to put that in the graveyard. We're going to put... Such a weird way to look for the deck. Don't need to put that in the graveyard because you've got the hat trigger. So we don't want that. We're going to end up with those. There is a Lone Fire Blossom here somewhere. There's a garnet. Must have already gone past it. This is the quick way of doing it. And then we need to put a light engrave, so you can either put a wolf for extension, or of course you can put a snow just for a guarantee, snow engrave. There we go, there's a Lone Fire. So let's go with clown, because clown can extend. Actually, let's go with wolf. I don't want wolf in my... no, I want wolf because in case I mill it. Where's clown? Obviously, you can extend your play a little bit further as well if you wanted to, because you could banish the damage juggler, search out the clown. Clown is then easy discard fodder for anything. Right, okay. So we go Lone Fire, Lone Fire, Lone Fire, Cobra. Cobra's effect goes off. Let's ditch Solitaire. That brings out... Sorry, Scorpio brings out Cobra, searches you out your Brilliant Fusion. Now, this is where YUGIOH is better without the zombie world. So we go into YUGIOH on that one. Activate the Brilliant Fusion. Send in your Garnet and your Clown. Clown comes back. Keep it away from your link zones. There's a Shrapnite. You've got your additional normal now. So you can go normal summon of this to get into a Solitaire if you want. We've got nothing that we can really lose in our deck right now that would suck. So if we shuffle this up, going to activate the charge. Top 3, 1, 2, 3. Search out our Raiden, because I think you can argue that the Shiranui Solitaire is more important than the Raiden. So it's up to you. Raiden is gambling because you're going to go for the mills. Where are you, Raiden? Which is a very, very valid point. So it just gives you that Raiden to hand should we want it. Gives you that option. You've got a special summon in hand if you want to. You special summon your Hat Tricker. If you special summon a Hat Tricker, you want to make sure you've got Spellcaster, because what you do is you'll go special summon this here, link these guys together over here into Summon Sork. Then you normal summon your Goblinberg here for the additional normal off of Seraphonite. That will then special summon your Solitaire. You then trigger Summon Sorcerer's effect, targeting the Solitaire to get a zombie from your deck. So you want to put you want to put Bloom there. You'll be careful because you don't want to use Bloom right now. You want to wait on that. You use Solitaire's effect, tribute that off, go into Unizombie. Unizombie's effect. Now they're all going to be turned into zombies, so you don't need to worry about its effect from the deck, because we're going to send our Banshee, banish the Banshee. Banshee will give us Zombie World. Everything now becomes zombie, which is great. Unizombie becomes a level 4. As soon as we get rid of Bloom, our opponent's going to struggle, definitely, because we'll get the Border Roach. So if we overlay these two, we haven't got Mizuki in grave yet, have we? No, we've got Snow, which is just as good. You can link these two first. Let's get the Border Roach on board. Give us the Vampire Sucker. Border Roach comes out in defense. Actually, probably should have left the level 4. I should have linked with Seraphonite, because Seraphonite's kind of useless right now. There's a brilliant fusion on board as well. There we go, that stays there. Think. Overlay these guys into Minerva. Use Minerva's effect to mill free. Trigger Border Roach's effect to banish one card on our opponent's field. We've got the Mizuki, which is perfect, because then what we can do is we can banish the Mizuki and revive anything you want, really. If we revive the Snow, we get a Book of the Moon effect straight away. That then gives us a draw off of Vampire Sucker. That's actually great, because as soon as we get Snow into the graveyard, we're going to be able to push our plays further forward that way. Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into your Borrelsword, sorry. This is like we're literally going for game. This is the play that we're going for. Use Snow's effect to banish 1, 2. We want that still. 2. This is already banished. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Snow comes back. Book of Moon something. Rex comes back. Does his shenanigans. You could go to Azathoth if you want to. You don't really need to. You could go, if you want to worry about Backrow, if you think they've got a Mirror Force or anything like that, you go into Phoenix, discard your Raiden, get rid of that. You can go to Sarudru if you want to draw more. Don't think you really need to draw more. If your opponent's got a monster, make sure you attack with Rex first. And then, of course, you attack with Sucker. Sorceress, make sure you attack a monster with this to gain the attack. And then, of course, you shift this into defense, attack again, attack there, attack there, attack there. That's pretty much game. If you want to guarantee it even more, you find a way of either XYZ or linking these up, and then you do Snow again. And you just loop Snow until you filled your board. So if you really wanted to, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, you've lost your Rex, but that doesn't really matter too much. Go into your Borrelo Dragon. Borrelo can obviously steal something. You need to make sure you have Snow on board, because you need something to shift into defense. So that's just your plays further forward. But as you can see, I would be amazed if I've got to this part of my board that my opponent survives.
There's just like no way my opponent survives that. And then if I had a way of getting into BLS, you know, that's game there. You've got 2 of your Link 4s on board. It's pretty much game. There's no way they survive that. And then if they do, during the standby phase, your Border Roach is coming back. I'm pretty sure there was still Mizuki engraved. Oh no, we already used the Mizuki. But you still have the way. If you wanted to, and you felt your opponent was going to survive, you'd play that a little bit differently. Make sure you had an Omega to recycle your Mizuki. That would then cause issues with your opponent. And then, of course, you could Gumbler them if they've got hands. You had so many options there. It was crazy. Right, I'm going to try and finish this one up because I don't want it to be too long. So, our final test hand, going second. Oh, hello. Will be... So hard shuffling a 60 card deck. Like, this is a one-time. New sleeves are amazing. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not bad. Right, we're going to start off with Zombie World. That then puts them under pressure. We're going to activate our reinforcement of the army, and of course the only target we are going to be searching out is our Raiden. I'm going to speed through this as best as I possibly can. Normal summon our Scorpio. We're going to act as if they haven't got anything. Discard this. Search out a Brill. Well, not a Brill. Get our Cobra, then the Brill. Cobra and the Brill. Go into the Vampire Sucker this time. It's basically Zombie World on board, Vampire Sucker. Not Zombie World on board, you go into YUGIOH, activate your Brilliant Fusion, that stays on board. Send, I wish we could send Banshee, that'd be so good. Send Damage Juggler, and where are we? The Garnet. One time you're looking for a Garnet and you can't find it, there we go. Send the Garnet, banish the Damage Juggler, search out your Hat Trigger. This goes into Seraphinite. Seraphinite's effect gives you an additional normal, which is great because we're going to use that on our Raiden. So we're going to go additional normal of our Raiden here, special summon of our Hat Trigger there. We want to try and get something to come back from grave that give us an additional draw off of Sucker. So. Activate Raiden's effect, 2 mil 2, 1, 2, not the best but not the worst. Link these guys together, go into Summon Sork. Summon Sork's effect, target the Raiden, which is now of course a zombie under Zombie World. Summon out your Mizuki if you want to bring something back, or of course you can summon out your Border Roach, but Border Roach will of course come in defense mode. So for now, because we're going second, I would rather we go for a Mizuki. Put that there. Probably another one where I probably should have used Seraphinite instead of the Hat Trigger. Anyway, overlay these guys, go into Minerva, detach Mizuki for more mills. 1, 2, 3. Not the best, but no, by no means the worst, especially when you've got a BLS sitting there in the wings waiting. Banish Mizuki. Bring back Solitaire. Solitaire's effect. Go into Unizombie. Unizombie's effect. Send Mizuki. Make that a level 4. Banish Mizuki. Bring back Spirit Master. Doesn't really matter what you bring back, to be honest. Sync. So Scarlet would guarantee you a game because you just do attack, 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 effect. Nuke board, off you go. BLS effect. Banish Unizombie, and I swear I've got no lights, and you just go. Eeh. Banish those guys for BLS. Make these guys, and no, I can't do that. They only give me link 3. I ideally want to get rid of Seraphinite now. She's kind of, she's done her duties. Nothing too major. You need to upgrade Seraphinite basically. Whatever you link her with needs to be providing you with an upgrade of attack power. regardless, because the mills weren't great to us. Ideally, we wanted like a snow engrave because that would then extend our plays even further. But regardless, so you would attack. So you got 3k there, 3k there. That's clearing 2 monsters off the board. 2k there, 24 there. Just double check this one. This one is the one that destroys when it's it's just hard to believe that this card doesn't have a restriction, because then you'd go 3k, that's cleared off 2 monsters and probably done some form of damage. 2k there, 24 there, 3k there, and then after the end, if there's anything left standing on your opponent's side of the field, which I don't believe, use the effect of this to destroy 1, 2, 3, 4. That does 2k to your opponent. If you haven't won the game by now, then there's something seriously wrong. Or your opponent's had some amazing kind of wall setup, everything in defense mode, ain't doing anything. So yeah, that is it. You did have other options. You could have gone different routes with this one, but it wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad at all. Still incredibly powerful deck and very, very fun to play. So this has taken a good half an hour to show you this deck, but I hope this has helped. I hope you found it enjoyable, and I hope you kind of understood some of the combos. It's not linear, it is, because it does rely a lot on what gets summoned, what gets sent, and a lot like that. You could go into Sarudra if you wanted to, but that's just another option. That would then allow us to special on Wolf, and that could probably give you a bit more of a guaranteed game. Anyway, like I said, hope you enjoyed it. If you do have any questions about the combos or decks and anything like that, put it in the comments below. I will do you the deck profile and show you exactly what we've got straight after. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always, guys, happy dueling. Also, YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.